Greetings. Why won't the mainstream media, the lamestream media, cover the real story? The story we're hearing from Tony Bobulinski about the Bidens in China. Why are the mainstream media ignoring the story? Well, why? Maybe it has something to do with the fact, as PolitiFact says, that Bobulinski provided some of his records to Fox News and the Wall Street Journal. Both Fox News and the Wall Street Journal reported that they do not show Joe Biden had business dealings with Sinohawk Holdings or took money from the Chinese company. That is, CEFC, China Energy Company, a Chinese oil company. The Wall Street Journal is hardly a liberal rag, but it, again, as PolitiFact puts it, reviewed his documents and found no evidence of wrongdoing by Joe Biden, or that he was active in his family's foreign business endeavors, as Bobulinski claimed. Maybe it has something to do with the Wall Street Journal's reporting that the 2017 emails and text messages given by Bobulinski, in the journal's words, don't show either Hunter Biden or James Biden discussing a role for Joe Biden in the venture. Maybe it has something to do with the Wall Street Journal's finding that the China venture never received proposed funds from the Chinese company or completed any deals, according to people familiar with the matter, and that corporate records reviewed by the Wall Street Journal show no role for Joe Biden. Maybe it has something to do with the journals quoting James Gilliar, or Gilliar, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it, the English businessman involved in the Sinohawk, as saying that he was unaware of any involvement at any time of the former vice president, and as adding, the activity in question never delivered any project revenue. Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe such a striking lack of evidence has something to do with the mainstream media's failure to blare the story from the rooftops. Maybe such a striking inability of even that left-wing rag, the Wall Street Journal, to find any reason to think that the story is actually true has something to do with the mainstream media's failure to devote front pages or prime airtime to giving Rudy Giuliani the megaphone he so clearly wants to shout this apparent non-story at anyone who'll listen. Of course, the New York Times investigated and found no evidence of wrongdoing by Joe Biden, and the Associated Press reached the same conclusion. But somehow, I should think that the Wall Street Journal would carry more weight with those on the right-hand side of the political spectrum. Maybe it has something to do with the way reputable news sources do their work. When the main author of a story has such grave doubts about the reliability of the story that he doesn't want his own name on the byline, a reputable editor doesn't say, let's run with it then. No. A reputable editor and a reputable editorial team says, let's hold off on publishing that until we can confirm that it's really true. A reputable news source says, hold on, we better check that. But the New York Post's Bruce Golding refused to let his name be used on the byline because of his worries about the article's credibility. And other staff members had worries about the Post's ability or inability to verify the truth of the story. That should have been enough to make the Post, or any other reputable news source, hold the story until it could be verified, if indeed it could be. And maybe it has something to do with the fact that even if a role was seen for Joe Biden, as alleged in the so-called expectations document, even if that much of the story really was true, that doesn't mean that Joe Biden was ready to take on that role. Moreover, that expectations document was dated in May of 2017, when, as MediaPost.com points out, Biden was a private citizen and free to participate in any kind of business venture. The way Donald Trump was when he wound up paying almost $200,000 in taxes to China from 2013 through 2015. Or the way Ivanka Trump is now with all her Chinese business interests. You know, like that. And when a story has the potential to seriously affect the outcome of a presidential election, any wrongdoing alleged should be well confirmed before it's widely reported to the electorate just days before Election Day. Like the legal finding of Trump universities having been fraudulent, for example. Or like the legal finding of the Donald J. Trump foundations having been fraudulent, for another example. Or like President Trump's violations of the emoluments clauses, both of them foreign and domestic, for another example. What it shouldn't be is what sure looks like a transparent attempt to siphon votes from one of the two parties in the last moments before Election Day. What it shouldn't be is what sure looks like a last-minute smear campaign to salvage the most verifiably dishonest, most verifiably corrupt presidency in history. But I guess some people would prefer to believe that the mainstream media, the lamestream media, are just falling down on the job. Otherwise, their failure to blare this unverified story from the rooftops would just be, well, utterly mysterious, wouldn't it? Just completely inexplicable. It's always hard to recover my equanimity and say this after talking about Donald Trump or his campaign's maneuvers. But as always, may reason and compassion be your guides.